Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. Aetherdrift Alchemy is here, and we have some amazing new cards to showcase for you here on the official Magic the Gathering Arena YouTube channel for the Alchemy format. And I'm going to start off with one that caught my eye, and whose eye wouldn't this catch? It is a Dinosaur Berserker, you guys. Amazing. It's a new legendary creature. I will probably also build this in Brawl at some point, but Tassagon? We're gonna say Tassagon, Raider Warlord, is red and white and black for a legendary creature, Dinosaur Berserking 1/4. It has double strike and start your engines, because of course the dino can drive a car or chariot or something of speed. Whenever this attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn for each creature you control with first strike or double strike. The max speed is this card gains death touch and other creatures get first strike. So the idea is get to max speed, and then all of your creatures will get +1/+0 for each first strike creature you have, and this will give them all first strike. You see what we did there? With all of your creatures having first strike, you get +1/+0 for each creature you control across all of your creatures, including this double striker, which also just gains death touch, because why the heck not? And it's a 1/4. 4 toughness, oddly hard to kill in this meta. So I wanted to build a Mardu aggro start your engines deck. Was that too ambitious? Not really. It turns out that you can do a lot of things in this format, including crazy Mardu aggro. We start our 1-drops with Nesting Bot. This is a way to start your engines and get an artifact creature onto the battlefield, which will be relevant when I introduce another card. Then we have Clockwork Percussionist, which is a 1-mana artifact creature, which is great for also keeping those engines revving. I don't have any of the lands that start the engines because they make colorless mana, and it turned out that was probably asking too much. But then we have Torch the Tower, which with the bargain can be a removal spell. You've seen this one in Standard, and it's also good in Alchemy because the mice are still really good in Alchemy. But then when we get to the 2-drops, things start to get a little different. Hangerback Assembler is a 1-and-a-white artifact with start your engines. When this enters, you conjure a Hangerback Walker onto the battlefield and put a counter on it. At max speed, at the beginning of your end step, you put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature and or vehicle that you control. So that's the reason that we have the artifact creature sub theme here in our start your engines deck, because once you get the Hangerback Assembler all built up, you start to add +1/+1 counters in every end step, and things get increasingly dangerous for your opponent if they've been able to survive so far. Add in Spectacle of Destruction. This is a funny one. It's kind of in a sacrifice theme, and it's an enchantment to help with some card type needs that we have coming up. You can kind of see it there. The fear of missing out is waiting, and it likes Delirium. Spectacle of Destruction is 1-and-a-black for an enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, put a wreck counter on this enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this enchantment has a wreck counter on it, 1 or more, remove a wreck counter and seek a non-land card. So every time something of yours is going to die, or the opponent's, anything dies on the battlefield, then this thing at the beginning of your next upkeep will get you a brand new non-land card to replace it. And that's really helpful when trying to keep the pressure on the opponent. So I thought it was worth trying one out. Fear of missing out, if it has Delirium, gives you multiple combats. Multiple combats mean multiple pumps from our Raider Warlord Dinosaur? That sounds really cool. We have other attacks triggers we're getting to. So Fear of Missing Out is even better in this deck than you realize. And then we get into some of the really good ones. Gilded Ambusher is a sneaky card that's in Alchemy. I don't think I've made a video with this before, but my God, what a nasty lizard enchantment creature this is. For 1-and-a-black and a red, you get a 4/2, and when this attacks, you may sack another non-land permanent. When you do, each opponent exiles a non-land, non-token permanent that they control from the board of their choice, and then they also exile a non-land permanent from their library, just selected for them, and they take damage equal to the mana value, the total mana value of those cards exiled. So that you sacrifice a thing, called a Percussionist, a Nesting Bot, a Hangerback Walker, something like that, and they have to exile a permanent from their battlefield and their library, and they take damage equal to the combined mana value. That can be a lot of damage, and it's a 4/2 attacker. This card, if it gets its attack trigger, is devastating. If it gets its attack trigger multiple times, it gets so much worse. I can tell you from experience now, it's absolutely wild. Then we throw in another new card, Unforgiving Overtake. This is a sorcery removal spell, but it's probably worth it because it destroys target creature or vehicle and its controller loses 2 life. Not you lose 2 life. This isn't Infernal Grasp. They lose 2 life, which really helps with starting and continuing towards max speed, starting the engines and moving to max speed. It also is cheaper when you're on the draw, which is really important as the opponent is beating you down. So 4 copies of this new one, Unforgiving Overtake. It's only an uncommon, probably worth a craft for many of your decks. Then on top of that, we go to the Porcelain Portent. If you just need value in the colors white and black, there isn't much better than this Little Pigs card from the Eldraine Alchemy set, but it's still legal here, so there isn't a good reason not to run it. You get a removal spell, you get an enchantment on the field that you can sacrifice when you need to sacrifice a permanent, and you get Will Pig. Will Pigs that can interact with artifacts and enchantments, which the rest of our deck, mostly Rakdos, can't do. Tajik Legion's Valor is a great way to conjure things onto the battlefield and great with multiple attack steps from fear of missing out. And the mana base does have Captivating Crossroads, so it does have some help. We are a little sussy in the mana base. We have a lot of Verges. We have Raucous Theater because it turns on all of our Verges, and it does mean sometimes the tap lands in the wrong spot. But the deck is more versatile and resilient than it seems. It doesn't just have to curve out to be able to get to max speed, which was something that surprised me about it. Okay, guys, if you're new to the Alchemy format, hopefully you enjoyed and found all of this explanation of these many Alchemy cards helpful. And if you're just like, that was a lot of words, and that's a lot of words about Magic cards, can we please see the games? Don't worry, we're gonna do exactly that. And these games are worth the watch. Let's dive in. Start your engines and let the dinosaur berserker nonsense begin. We have the Percussionist into the Hanger back assembler. We need to draw a black source, but if we do, our hand is absolutely smoking. So let's give it a shot. Our opponent is starting off with Ruby Collector. When you attack with 3 or more creatures, make a Mox Ruby. Seems good. I'd play the Power 9 right now. That seems like a great idea. Block, I dare you. Okay, they're loot mongering us. They're heisting our library. Wonder what they'll get from us. It's gonna be a non-land card. When they cast it, they get a treasure. So they get to cast it for cheaper. So this gets a... Oh, hey, there's a black source. So, when this artifact enters, conjure a card named Hangerback Walker, then put a counter on it, max speed. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact, creature, and or vehicle you control. So right now, it's not going to give us a counter. Right now, it would just give us a walker. So when do we have to play this Raucous Theater is the question. And I guess on the draw, we need it right away. That's the answer. And we need more defensive cards. The Torch the Tower on top is kind of ideal. Oh, look, they have my dino. That's rude. Now they're starting the engines, but they're attacking, and this was, in a way, very much according to plan. So, exile the Torch. Cast the Torch. Verge. I think we just keep the opponent's stuff off the field. And, well, it looks like the Portent's the most mana-efficient way to do that. We can wait until they are about to attack. Huge mana advantage. The question is going to be, do they have something to do with it? They go Wicked Roll. Now would be a good time to remove this. Wandering Rescuer? They forgot to tap it. Tapped creatures have hexproof, my friend. Okay then. We all make mistakes. That's gonna die now. Oh man, that's a big mistake though. Oh, that's I feel bad if I knew how empathy worked. But I now have a hangerback walker ready to take on their charming scoundrels and such, and they have another must-kill threat in a Nimpekal. 1000th moon. That's great. I guess I have to kill this scoundrel. On the bright side, Thopter. Ooh, that gets rid of a Nimpekal. God, we needed that. All right. I don't think we can even try to work on our max speed. We're too far behind. Someday, my aggro deck will aggro. Just might not be this day. Okay, they showed us that they play Wandering Rescuer, so I'm not messing around. We're just going to exile this, and if they draw another one, we get punished. Don't draw another one. Delny, okay. Okay. They don't have good attacks unless they want to trade, and if they trade, they can't activate their Ruby later. Looks like they're happy to trade. Okay. We've still got them on 2 creatures. Let's make another hangerback walker. And if we ever get max speed, they're in big trouble. And let's also make a double striking 1/4 dino. That should block pretty well, especially against Delny. Okay, they drew a land. They drew a land. It's calming down. Things are happening. Whenever this attacks, creatures get +1/+0 for each creature you control with first strike or double strike. So this can keep the engine started. If they block this, they can't deal very well with it. I think we want to get out the ambusher, because we're definitely getting towards sacrificing some permanents. They are a land. Man, do I increase our speed? It's kind of risky, but I'm gonna go for it. Okay, speed increasing. Man, 4 booty on this warlord is pretty nice. Three or greater, so the walker can block. Oh, okay. What's the case gonna kill? The ambusher? Okay. Battle continues here. We've got to be careful with growing the walker too big for the Delny. Unless we just make some pigs. Percussionist. Value. It's when this attacks, so we can attack with both of these. Now the percussionist will trade with Delny if they dare to block it. So I don't think they will. Dude, max speed. It could happen. How did max speed become so slow? This is what happens when you go second. Here's the pigs. And we actually want a small one so it can still block Delny. So I think we'll take this. It can be used against the case of the Getaway Express potentially. It does take a white or a green and one other to activate. A Sheltered by Ghosts off the top. This really is standard. Okay, if I grow this, it can't block anymore on the Delny creatures, but it's still worth it, right? Because of the amount of Thopters we might make. Unfortunately, this is exile target artifact or enchantment. All right, how do we get max speed? We go in with the walker and the pig. Actually, everything will be unable to block because of Delny, because we'll be putting counters on the percussionist. So I guess we're just getting aggro. We can also blow up the Shelter by Ghost to get back the Warlord. Oh yeah, the pig can take care of Shelter by Ghosts. I knew that. It was always my plan. We'll just do it at the right time. I think they're going to 1. They are. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I have max speed. It's a miracle. More pigs. My God, the value these porcelain portents provide. Say that a bunch of times fast. They are clicking. They are carefully clicking. I would like to surveil. And end turn and counters. Watch the creatures get strong. Well, we survived the onslaught, guys. The opponent draws a land, and that should do it. I can block. Creatures you control power 2 or less. Oh. That works then. I just can't do that. Pump it up. They did the thing. And first strike, and Delny's dead. We didn't even let them get all the way to max speed. Feels good. Oh yeah, and a big old raptor bump for a mega attack. That's how you like to see it go. On the play, nesting bot. Let's go. Hopefully we get to do the Gilded Ambusher thing, because I'm really excited to play this card. Start them engines. Not the starting player. It's our unforgiving overtake. It's gonna be a little slow. And they've got Hinterland Sanctifier, so they've got life gain? Yikes. What do we need? I think we'll go black. No, it's supposed to be red, and then the Verge is black. Okay. And immediately we can't keep the pedal to the metal, which feels like I failed somehow. Ooh, must be a difficult turn too. Not that difficult. So Soothsayer makes Sanguine Bonds that are free when it gets to attack. Verge is a pretty unfortunate top deck. If I had named black, I wouldn't be in this position. But here we are. So, we went first. We've been unable to attack our opponent. How do we keep our engines going? I think we want this to attack and trade with their cards. So I think we play the Ambusher here. Whenever this attacks, you may sacrifice another non-land permanent. That would be a nesting bot. When you do, each opponent exiles a non-land, non-token permanent they control and a random card from their library. Then it deals damage to them equal to the total mana value of the cards exiled. Would be really fun if we hit that Sanguine Bond they shuffle into the top of their deck. Ooh, our creatures enter tapped. That really hurts Tajik. Actually, does it? Then the creatures don't have to attack right away. I guess it depends on the board state. Lunar Convocation, so a pair of enchantments. Could be worse. And they do not get the bat, so what we can do is remove the Sanctifier. Then when this attacks, they sacrifice the Soothsayer or one of these. Actually, let him have the Sanctifier. Who cares? It's okay. Yeah, let's just go straight to combat. And sack the Nesting Bot. They do get 1 life. You get rid of the Authority. Ooh, and there's the engines. We got rid of a Life Creed duo. The other thing is it makes it more likely that they'll draw the Sanguine Bonds. The Sanguine Bonds might get us. They go to 17. Let's bring out another one. They're drawing. They're trying to hit that Sanguine Bond, but there's no way it's that close to the top, right? That's right. That's right. Soothsayer has to keep attacking to be effective. And we go to 15. And now that's a 4-3? Now it's a 5-4? Still has trouble blocking the ambushers. Triggers. Sorry, Boros Recruit. You just got here, but we're done with you. These can be really oppressive if you can keep them fed. There goes a Sanctifier. And was that the Sanguine Bond? Hold on. Yes, it was. Oh, they took 5 for that. That's awesome. And now their Convocation is gone, but they can block with a Channeler and put the counters on the Soothsayer. And then we have to unforgiving overtake the Soothsayer, I think. And then hope to get back in the game from there, but that doesn't take into account their hand. They could have all kinds of good cards in their hand. Another Authority. It doesn't really change the plan. Does give them something to exile. The Gilded Ambushers are trying to do all the work in this one. Our life total is also falling precipitously. We're down to 9. No, raise the past. Oh, okay. It's just one thing. It could have been a lot worse. All right, when we attack, they're going to want to block here. But man, we're only gonna get 1 trigger. And they have this Authority. And I would like to attack with this, but that's not gonna work. I can sacrifice it, and then I'll have a double striker. I guess that's pretty good. This is a sorcery. I think we save this till the end. If we trade, is that fine? If we take this out, yeah, we have to kill this anyway, so save this till the end. Who knows? We might even hit a torch to the tower and get lucky. Another life, another counter feels bad. How about luck? Yep, there goes Authority. They take 2, and we hit a Hangerback Assembler. And there's the block. Counters on the Soothsayer, I bet. We're hoping. No, it's the bat. Okay, well, gotta do it. They're down to 5 despite all the life gain, and we are at 9. It is a scary game, but they scoop it up. Wow, the lizards really did their part in that one. I could have never done it without them. That was crazy. Ah, Curses, the basic mountain, and On the Play, so captivating Crossroads is potentially a tapped land. But with 2 Torch the Towers, we won't get run over. I think this hand will give us time to settle. I am really worried, though, if I don't draw a land. Naming the wrong thing with the Crossroads could be really bad. So I'm going to play the mountain, try to put off naming a color. Don't want to commit. If I had to commit right now, it would be black. Molt Tender, beautiful. That is a fun little dredgy insect that is now exiled forever. Okay, now I want to name white. Oh man, this could be huge. I'm gonna name white, so I have the hanger back assembler to play next turn, but I might really regret this. If you don't play this format often, you might not realize that some of the fast lands rotated. So we have half the fast lands, but not all the fast lands. I don't have Black Cleave Cliffs for the red-black fast land, which makes the mana a little tricky because we need to use a lot of verges. And getting the right verges is hard. The Crocodile is cycled. I know you. I wonder if there's a reanimate deck. Massacre Worm that cycles so you can zombify it. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is I mean, it's obviously a graveyard deck. The question is, how powerful is it at reanimating? Is that the point of the deck or just something the deck sometimes does? Okay, this is tough. We did start the engines, so there is something to be said for attacking. There's also something to be said, though, for increasing the stats on the walker. With 2 of these, though, I think the right play is to attack. That's another discardable effect card. And we have a Thopter. Will we stay stuck on land? Oh, no, we will not. So what does this make? Black. Okay, so actually it's all 3 colors. Oof. Do we play the Ambusher? The Ambusher seems like a pretty tough card to cast when your opponent might get back a Crocodile. Like, that would be brutal. But what are we doing if we don't play it? I think we have to. But let's start with trying to increase our speed. Beautiful. We have the fodder. If we get to attack with it, it's a very powerful card, but our opponent also doesn't have anything to exile. It does seem like the Ambusher dies to their whole deck, though. Looking at Crocodile and Harvester. -2 will kill it. What is that? What is that? The beginning of combat on your turn, conjure a duplicate into your graveyard. Okay. Could be worse. Descend 8, exile a permanent from your graveyard. You may play it. Yikers. Descend 8. If it says descend 8, when does this activate? Descend 8, exile a permanent card. Oh, at the beginning of combat, I'm guessing. Okay. Well, we get to get rid of that just by sacrificing something. That's pretty good for us. I think I'm playing another assembler, although we can sacrifice this. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Out of there. Out of there. Oh, is that a hit? Yeah, we hit a Harvester. My God, that's huge. The opponent falls to 6. All right, I'm going to play another assembler. I think that's the right play. With the start your engine's almost online, having another walker on the field I think is better. If we play the other Gilded Ambusher and they kill both of them, we'll feel really bad that we lost an ability to do direct damage. What are you? Charmer. Offspring. When it enters, creature cards in your hand perpetually gain 1 less to cast. Whoa. Crazy. It's crazy that has Offspring. That's a Hollow Marauder. That does what? Target opponent, discard a card. Okay, we can do that. Maybe I was supposed to keep the pig. Feels like exile is pretty good. Okay. Okay, okay. We just need a little damage. We're gonna exile the Tender. So, I mean, we're gonna hit, right? We have to hit, so this should be lethal. And yeah, oh my. Huskburster Swarm. Oh, that blew up in their face.